Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and thanks for attending today. Welcome to one of our fine Wisconsin Air National Guard facilities here at Truax Field. We're here today to share some exciting news about the future of the 115th Fighter Wing. About a year ago, we had learned that the 115th Fighter Wing was one of 5 finalists being considered by the United States Air Force for future fielding of the F-35 aircraft. And we knew at that time that we had a really good chance. Our close proximity to one of the premier airspace and range training complexes in the nation, our strategic location here in Madison, along with strong community support, we knew were all factors that would play in our favor. Perhaps most importantly, though, is the incredible airmen of the 115th Fighter Wing. They have established a legacy and of performance that has been just simply exceptional over many years, and I would say even decades. Their professionalism and their steadfast service to both the state and country is really second to none. And it's not by chance that the motto of the 115th Fighter Wing is dedicated to excellence. In just a few moments, Governor Walker is going to officially share the news with us, and then we'll have some time to answer your questions. But before we do that, I would just like to take a moment to introduce those in front here with us today. Joining us, Mr. Jack Salzwedel and Pat Richter from the Badger Area Community Council. The Badger Area Community Council has been a steadfast supporter and partner with the 115th Fighter Wing. Also with us, Mr. Zach Brandon, the president of the Greater Madison Area Chamber of Commerce, and also Colonel Eric Peterson, the commander of the 115th Fighter Wing. And I'd also like to thank our congressional delegation on both sides of the aisle. They provided terrific support to us, as well as the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, General Goldfein, and the Secretary of the Air Force, Heather Wilson, for their trust and confidence in both the 115th Fighter Wing and the Wisconsin Air National Guard. And last but not least, a special thank you to Governor Walker for your unwavering support of the Wisconsin National Guard and your steadfast efforts to bring the F-35 to Wisconsin. So without further ado, the Commander-in-Chief of the 10,000 men and women of the Wisconsin National Guard, Governor Walker. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you, General Evan, and thank you to all of you here. First off, Colonel Peterson and the men and women of the 115th Fighter Wing, congratulations. Thank you for an outstanding job. We wouldn't be standing here today without your excellence. And looking around, it's good to see all of you safe and sound. Last time I saw a number of you, Bart, it's good to see you here and all the rest of the gang. I almost thought about wearing my jersey today, but I thought it was a little too formal. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, when we were over at Kunsan Air Base in the Republic of Korea, seeing the outstanding work that these men and women were doing in South Korea, as a parting gift for the 3 of us who came to visit, they gave us a nice 115th baseball jersey. So I'll wear that when it's a little warmer. But I'm proud to be affiliated with you, proud to live in a state where we have so many excellent men and women, and proud to have seen there in the Republic of Korea, where we really were literally in harm's way, just moments away, the incredible work and dedication of every single one of you, those deployed and those supporting them back here at home. Thank you so much. And I think having seen that firsthand as part of this deployment is just such a vivid reminder of why we're here today. These men and women do exceptional work. They are the best, not only with the 115th, but with both the Air and Army National Guard here in the state of Wisconsin. Could not be more proud to live in a state where we have so many exceptional men and women who are trained to do service here in our state, around this country in times of need, and then when called up by our federal government around the world. And so first and foremost, let's get, all of us civilians here, let's give them a warm round of applause. And it's great to see the team assembled. General Evan mentioned a little bit, but to the Badger Area Community Council, not only those behind, but those in front, to all that you represent, to folks from municipal and county government, folks from all across the state. And as General Evans mentioned, we were thrilled to have in this effort the full support of our congressional delegation, both U.S. senators, each of the members of the House from both political parties, working together as a team exactly as you would want and expect with something like this, but it doesn't always happen. It did in this case here in Wisconsin. So thanks to everyone, particularly those in elected offices in Washington and here at the local and state level, but really remarkable community support. And it's kind of exciting. I was going around the state today. We knew that the decision was probably imminent. We were kind of waiting here and there. And today at 11:01, when I landed in La Crosse to speak there today about economic development, I got a call from Secretary Wilson to officially tell us that the 115th Fighter Wing here at Truax Field has now become the preferred site for the new F-35A Lightning II. And so we couldn't be more thrilled and proud to have that here today. So for that, let's celebrate. I want to reinforce what a great team, and we've had not only with local support, with the chamber, with the community council, with local officials, with a team of folks who helped us out, kind of to coordinate this and put this all together, not only here but in our nation's capital. In fact, when I was out earlier this year at the Pentagon meeting both with the Secretary and the Chief of Staff, it was, I had to chuckle. She said, well, I talked to the predecessor in the previous administration. I talked to her. I went and saw her in person. She said, how many times are you guys all going to meet with us and call us? I said, as many times as we need to, right? But from our standpoint, what I particularly appreciate from them, though, is both with the Secretary and the Chief of Staff and those within the United States Air Force who were responsible for making this announcement today, is they had a very objective process. We knew that from day one. We put together the specifics. Sure, we've got incredible community support. We're proud of our National Guard. We're proud of this 115th Fighter Wing. But we knew the criteria. We knew that they had to meet the mission goals. We knew that we had to have the capacity. We knew the criteria we had to set. And then we knew that there were a lot of other great National Guard bases across the country. And in fact, we eventually got down to be one of the 5 finalists. We were pleased that our scoring was at the top of the list. And then we knew that we would narrow it down to 2, but every step of the way we had to be up to the challenge. And so it was fun in the past being up at Volk Field and seeing the Northern Lightning activities. I got to tell you, there's nothing greater than to hear all those planes going off, and think soon one of those will be an F-1. 18 full-time and 2 backups will be right here with the sound of freedom every single day being going off right here in the great state of Wisconsin at this field. But we knew that we had to show that we didn't just really want it, that we were worthy of this, not only because of the skill and expertise of the men and women who fly and support our aircraft, but also showing them that we can meet all the other criteria. And one of the compelling things for us was the proximity to the Volk Field. It's one of the things we highlighted. It's part of the reason why we did Northern Lightning, but to make the distinction, it show that not just as proud Wisconsinites, but as concerned American taxpayers, we wanted to make sure that we were given the best bang for the buck of the American citizens. And in this case, we can proudly say that they used an objective criteria, not only to make sure that we could meet the mission, that we had the capacity, that we had the infrastructure, that we had the talent, but that we could do it in a way that was the most cost-effective to the American taxpayers. And because of our proximity, being about 50 miles from here up to the Volk Field in minutes by aircraft, we knew that we could save millions and millions and millions of dollars every year as compared to other bases across the country. And so I am pleased. Sometimes we don't always say that about the federal government, but I am pleased that they used an objective criteria. We felt all along that if this was objectively done, that we had made the best case, not only in terms of support and expertise and capacity, but as well as in cost and other specifics. And so we're absolutely thrilled to be here today to reinforce this announcement, to thank the leaders, to thank the Secretary, to thank the Chief of Staff for the Air Force, and to thank those men and women who are part of that process. And it really does, for those here today or those who might be tuning in on Facebook or hearing the news later, besides just being an exciting thing, I mean, this really is state of the art. we're talking about aircraft here who've been, are nearing, not yet, but nearing the end of a life cycle of 25 to 30 years. And so the F-35 is the most advanced, most technology advanced aircraft in the world today. Not only are we excited and proud to be able to say that that will soon be home here after the about 12 to 18 month cycle of doing the environmental impact and the other components that are part of that. We're certainly proud of that, but we also know that this has a tremendous economic impact on this city and on this region. Every day, you've got about 500 civilian and military full-time employees that are here at Truax Field. You've got another 700 on-call members of the Guard who are part of this unit, who make us proud every single day. That has a tremendous economic impact in itself. On top of that, there's another over 1,600 jobs that are directly linked to the work that's being done here. And then all the other benefits we have for this airport, which many people fly in and out of every day. You've got the capacity to have talented folks that can help. God willing, we don't need it, but can help in terms of fire and crash and other components that can be of help, that can help not only here, but in all of our 72 counties in terms of the expertise that they have. All that has a dramatic economic impact. And as we understand going forward, to get this site prepared for the F-35s, we're probably going to have something in the range of $20 million or more invested in this field alone just to prepare for the F-35s. So this has a tremendous economic impact today. It will only be accelerated. In fact, dare I say, it's like pouring jet fuel on the economic impact that this will have in this community. So we are thrilled for Madison, for Dane County, for this part of the state, and really the impact it has, because a lot of these members here from the Guard are from all over the state of Wisconsin. The economic impact it has, in addition to the military significance of being here today. And so for all those reasons, we're thrilled to be a part of a great team, an exceptional team being here today. We want to make this announcement. And I think, General, if we, over there, sorry, look back and see where you were. If you like other folks to speak, or if not, I can take questions and call others up along the way. Okay. With that, we'll take some questions, and then if there's any I stumble over, the good folks behind me will help me out. Sure.
What would you say to the group of concerned citizens in Madison that are worried about
Well, I think in the end, it's part of the reason why we have an active community council, not just to give support for things like this, but to address concerns that people have and to make sure we can do it in a way that's effective and supportive and responds to needs out there. But as someone who lives in earshot of this, I got to tell you, it's not that frequent. That's the nice thing about being as quick as they are. It happens and then boom, they're gone. And in most cases, they're going to be up quickly up the Volk field. So I'm close enough where I hear this just about any day I'm outside. It's a short amount of time. It really doesn't have a big impact. And certainly we take those concerns into mind. But I think it's, again, you've got an airfield, not only for the military, you've got an airport. And I would guess for most of the folks that hear noise and hear issues related to commercial aircraft, probably has a more consistent, persistent impact in terms of volume levels than would be the current F-16s or the F-35s in the future. Sure. Colonel, would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. Obviously, the F-35 is the fifth generation, newest line fighter aircraft. And with any new weapon system, there's always going to be hurdles to overcome. But it's going to be up to the Air Force to address those standards. Here at the fighter wing, our primary emphasis is once those aircraft come online, is to fly those aircraft and execute United States Air Force missions.
Sure. We can give you the exact specifics, but we've been involved. Again, it's a joint effort. You've got the Chamber of Commerce and others have been involved with this. But really, the heaviest amount of the lobbying, I mean, there were some great folks who helped really put the focus on the cost factor. But was our congressional delegation and people from the Coordinating Council and others here locally. So it was really a broad-based effort. Most of it was done by either elected officials or people from the community. But there was a focal point put on what was the criteria and how do we best meet that. And again, when you have a $20 million impact just on putting in the upgrades in terms of being prepared at this base alone, that's a pretty significant economic impact. No. Colonel, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's 18 that will be active and 2 that are backups? Yep. Sure.
Yes, there will be flight simulators also based here at the field. There should be 2. Up to 4.
Yeah, and how is that going to change how many like drills you guys have? Is that going to alter the amount of drills?
There should be no major impact on alterations. That again, that's going to come down as they formalize our training program. Based on that training program, we don't foresee any major changes in flying operations. Yes, yes. The full impact of that will be analyzed through the environmental impact statement that will be occurring here over the next year. The net change at the base will be minimal. We are not sure yet if there will be more or less, but it's going to be overall a fairly neutral change. Same type of mission, similar type of fighter aircraft, so we do not expect major changes.
And the other interesting thing is I was thinking about years ago, actually I pointed out Bart not only because he was the commanding officer when they were deployed recently, but I had the good fortune to go up in an F-16 with him a couple of years ago. And I remember the simulator, actually I've been in the simulator here and I've been in an F-35 simulator. They're not a huge amount of difference other than they're quicker, I guess, right? But that's about it. But it will be pretty exciting. And I think actually a couple of other members of our congressional delegation have done the same thing. Great. If not, thanks. And again, thanks to all the men and women of the 115th, and thanks to all the rest of you for being here to support us. Congratulations.